we're about to start, everyone, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, how are we? We have some lovelies already here. Oh wow, hi, we've got Jana, we've got Gloria, Sarah, hello. Oh, we've got Shelley as well. So, how is everyone? Is it nice where you are? We've finally got sunshine. No longer just snow here. Anyhow, let's do a little update. I went to a crop on Friday and Saturday, which was great in Calgary. I'm going to another one next month in Edmonton, or just outside of Edmonton, which was great. And it also meant that I had some actual uninterrupted time to prep for this video, which was very helpful. Today I'm going to run through some of the bits and pieces that are really useful when it comes to peel off. So I'm going to show you how to mitre the edges to make it look super clean. I'm going to be sneaking you a few of next month's items in the process. So, I mean, it's what, a week away yesterday. We've started sneak peeking on that note. The May kit is beautiful. I did actually show a couple of people at the show that I was at, so and I got very positive feedback. So I'm looking forward to what you all think about it. Oh gosh, we have loads. We have Alice is here as well. Everybody saying hi, everybody being friendly. This is very nice. Beautiful in southern Alabama. Okay, well, I'm not quite sure what the temperature is here, but the sun is shining and it looks lovely. Anyhow, I'm going to run through some cards that I made historically at a make and take. So it's pretty much exactly the same card, and I decorated it with peel-offs in different ways, and I only used 2 sheets of peel-offs, and there was still tons and tons left on those particular ones. So we'll go through those, and then I'm actually going to finish some cards. And by most people's standards, they would be considered finished as is. But that's the reason why peel-offs really make your cards pop. So we'll go through it as it happens. So I am going to jump in to here we go, to my hands. So please excuse this hand for being a bit yellow. I made like a curry last night and didn't realise how much it was going to stain. I have given it a good scrubbing, but just in case, it's not the camera, it is actually me. So peel-offs, we have them in all different shapes, sizes, colours. Our most popular by far are our pinstripes, and it's because they are so versatile. You get so many on a sheet. It's not just one shape, you've got the 3 different widths there, so it's yeah, they're really, and they go forever, especially with how careful I am about throwing bits away. And I'm going to show you how to get the perfect line so that you can join them up, so that you can use all those little tiddly bits. But we have moon dust finish, mirror, gloss, flat, glitter, holographic. It goes on and on and on, and they're beautiful. So we're going to pop these all aside, and I am going to show you the cards that I made recently. Now these were for the make and take. So this is pretty much exactly the same card. It's a piece of patterned paper just down the centre. These are A2 size card bases. And then a topper. This was actually from the October 24 card kit called Fall Friends, which incidentally we do still have in stock, if of course you are interested in it. Now, this is a, let's tell you properly. It's a 2-inch wide piece of paper, patterned paper, 5.5 tall, and this is a 2-inch square cut apart sheet that came in that kit. Now, I've put peel-offs along the edge, along the borders, and then created a pattern down here. And I've also, I'll show you up close, put peel-offs just along this seam, just to give it a bit of a shiny extra, that's it. And then a little heart in the high. So that's one way I decorated. This one, I used tiny weeny mini hearts and decorated the actual pattern of the paper. Again, popping a little heart as an extra on that topper, and I used a middle width peel off. So the only 2 sheets of peel offs I actually used were the black pinstripe with gold finish and the mini heart. I'm not going to be able to find it with gold finish. Eek. I can't find one. However, it was only those 2 sheets of peel offs across all of these cards. So yes, so the nice thing about the black with the gold finish is it gives that super shine. This one I created a little row of hearts, seamed the edges and popped the little hearts in the high. This one, which I thought was actually pretty good as a masculine card, because although it has got the hearts with the plaid and the colours, I thought, and highlighted the sentiment, top right corner, and then randomly along a sort of zigzaggy line got smaller in size as little hearts around, the dots in the eye, and 3 across the side. Some random, I think this might actually be the one that Liam made. I made him make one at the make and take as well. But yeah, 3 randoms. The rule of 3 is really important to try to stick to. And then the widest along the edge, and then the dot for the eye. So this is all the same sort of card, and just using those peel offs to make them slightly different. Now, let's get into actually doing some. So I've used Peach Blossom, which the dies and the stamps are, oh gosh, that's some glare, isn't it? They are currently listed in the website. They have been available for some time because they are really, really good generic, necessary, keep on your desk, have on hand stamp and die sets, because you've got the flowers that fit together with the inner parts, little heart and love you, so it's great. And we are going to be re-releasing this month the Peach Blossom paper pack and ephemera pack, and it's this really lovely peach greens taupes. So I've made some cards using this collection, and then what I did as well, just to make it more straightforward and obvious, I went through all of our peel offs and I grabbed all of them which might fit with this collection. So when I say we've got a few colours and a few shapes, I mean it. So I'm going to flick through these so that you get the idea. In fact, I will pull some of the pattern paper onto the desk underneath so that you can see. So when I'm coming to make a project, I assess sort of the pattern paper or the collection, the ephemera that I'm going to use. And from there, I go and have a look through my peel offs to see what it is that I think is going to work best. Come on. As you can see, this is a 24-page pack, and it's great because we also have the solid colours in it, so you can die cut flowers perfectly to match. So, right, I think we can get an idea of what the colour palette is. And now, so I've picked some gold. And usually my go-to is to pick either gold or silver. Are they warm colours or are they cool colours? Because then gold and silver go with everything. But for this one, I purposefully tried to steer away. I did pick out things with a gold finish because they do work. But this could also work really nicely with silver and with sparkling white. But black, let's try and see if I can scooch through these. Black, white with gold finish, brown. Now there isn't actually any brown within the collection, but because there is this sort of crafty taupey colour, it does work. Mink, peach, apricot, green, rose gold mirror, racing green mirror, apple mirror, green glitter, green hollow, mint moon dust, mink gold finish, apricot gold finish, green gold finish, racing green gold finish, and now we're into straights, and these are the colours. So as you can see when I hold them up next to the pattern papers, they match. These are all different shapes in the same colours. We have the most extensive selection of colours in the pinstripes, and we do expand the other shapes across. So, right, that's the pattern paper pack. That's how I pick for colours. I just pick anything that either is within the pack or complements it hard. And then the actual crux of what we're getting to is I've done a one sheet wonder with one sheet of pattern paper from that pad. And I have got here 6 cards that we're going to decorate. Now, they look finished. I think if I stuck this on, maybe there, I don't know. If I stuck that there, that would potentially be considered finished. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate it with peel-offs just to give it that little extra pop. So all this is some ephemera pieces that I stuck together. And look, here's tape I did earlier. So on this one, I am going to use a mink, I think. Now, I'm going to use pinstripes just to start off. Now, 3 different widths. You've got super skinny, medium and wider. And the ways of getting them off the sheet and onto your project. There's different things. You can pull up the corner of the sheet, peel it back and throw away this bit, because then you've got almost like a lip. Hang on, let me just, in fact I'll do it on this sheet, don't need it. So that now is just the stickers that you would use. And I'm a lefty, so I'm sorry if this looks back to front to people. But you can sort of peel it and it will ping them up, which is really helpful. And I have a curry-filled fingernail. It's not filled, I promise, I've washed my hands. And I can sort of pick it with a nail. However, there are so many different things you can use. Palette knife, just to get underneath it and flick it up. Craft knife. So anyway, I'm going to use this width as it's what I've now got in my clutches, and I'm going to peel the whole thing up. From here, I am going to lay it. Now I'm going to overshoot the corner of my card somewhat, just so that, as you can see, I've gone a little bit beyond. Laura's trying to be funny and put me off. You're right, I would never usually throw anything away, but short of sticking it to Liam's head, there wasn't anywhere for it to go, so had to scrunch it up and get it out of here. Okay, so I've attached that down, and I'm using my finger to give it a nice press. They are self-adhesive, you don't need to use glue. I know some people do like to make sure that they're super durable, but here we go. Give it a little snip, and now that, if we look in nice and close, is hanging over either side, and that is intentional. And I'm going to go around the whole of this one little box doing exactly the same thing. So I'm going to create this sort of cross at the top by laying it down, and I almost always hold them like this. I'll hold it a good inch or so from the end, and it is obviously stuck on this finger, but I'll lay it down, and because I can move that, I can sort of treat it almost like a pencil and give it a little twist. So once that's, let me get right under this camera. So when that end looks like it's in the right spot, I don't care about this bit. If that's in the right end, I'll lay that down and then I'll press it and hold that there. And that's when I start worrying about this end and start driving this one. So now that that's laid down, you don't need to pull it hard. They will stretch a little bit, but it's not necessary. But you can just line it by moving left and right until it lands in the right spot, and then run your finger across that way. So, are we all good? Am I making sense so far? I can slow down, I can speed up. I don't want us to be bored. I did also mention on Facebook that we could treat this as a Q&A. So if you've got any questions, and they don't have to be peel-off related. However, I think if there is anything that I don't do that's clear, or you want something being shown again in a slower or a different way, then just let me know. I'm trying to make sure I don't get my head in this, which is much easier said than done. Okay, so I'm going around. It is actually easier for me, I don't know if anyone just noticed that, to do the first stick pointing towards me. Obviously I was doing it this way to show you guys, but because I'm this side, I'll hold the peel off like this, and I will look, and I'll get, it's why you don't want the overhead camera on at that point, because all you see is the back of my head. But that way I can look to see where that spot is, get it lined up, put my finger on it, and then I can drive the other end. And now, as you can see, we're nearly halfway there. And then what you do is, this itty bitty ditty bit, you can throw it in the bin if you want. You can, you don't need to, you can use it. And I will show you that in a different card, because we have all the techniques here. So I was considering part finishing these so that it would be just one little action that gets carried out to show the completed card, but I also wanted to show you how these cards look with none on at all. So, okay. Is the sound okay for everyone? Is the picture okay for everyone? We were looking at the picture earlier and it looked a little bit fuzzy. I want to make sure that you can see, because some of this is quite close up. So please let me know if you're unable to see. Right, okay, we're coming to the good bit now. And this is something that I can remember being, I think it was at Junkie Fest with Crafty Not Shifty, and she was using the peel-offs in a live demonstration. She couldn't find a craft knife, and she was going to miter the corners, which is what I'm about to do and show you how to do. I handed her my craft knife. It was blunt. So she's trying to do this demonstration with my product, with a blunt knife that I'd given her, so that was fun. Right, when you get to this stage, I mean, usually you possibly would only have one big one. And you can actually leave them like this, obviously a little bit tidier perhaps. It's, you know, almost like those bamboo framed patterns, but I'm going to show you how to miter the edges so that you get a super clean diagonal, you know, like you see on the corner of a window frame or around a door, just to have that really picture frame. Picture frames are always mitered. So I am going to try to get as close as I can and give you the impression of what I'm doing. So the knife you hold inside corner, on the inside corner, and you drag it with a bit of pressure to the outer corner there. It was sabotage according to Laura. Also never used a finger craft knife, but they are wonderful. Okay, so we're going to drag from the inside corner to the outside corner. I have to do it on a mat, but I'm going to hold the top peel off with my finger now so that it doesn't drag, because when you press down, you want it to slice through both layers, and because they are stuck, you should, once you've given it a slice, be able to remove that little top corner piece and then sort of reach behind and take out the second corner piece. And now, she says, da-da-da, the edges are sliced and stop at the same point. I'll do that again. So holding it down from inside corner to outside corner. Take away the top bit, take away the bottom bit, she says. Eek, come on, there we go. Okay. And you can go, now the finger knife, as Laura said, that is one option. However, we have a new option for you, and this is from next month's release, and this is our peel-off knife pen. So it's a pen to make it much easier, and look at this tiny weeny little blade. If you are at risk of cutting yourself, this blade is going to keep you safe. So, same principle applies. You hold it down and then you just slice through, and then you can use the tip of the knife to make sure I got through that bottom layer there, which I did. I'm sure it's just because it's a bigger piece, it's more stuck down, and then pull it away. And it will give you these really lovely professional looking corners, whilst allowing you to use as many different shapes as you like in the peel off. So this works with the straight, with the skinnies, all the different pinstripes. Equally, the borders that we have, we do heart and star borders as well. So I'm going to push through these super quick now, because otherwise we're going to have another video that's supposed to be 20 minutes turning into an hour and 20 minutes. That always helps, doesn't it? So I've given that a really good press, and it's popped off, but I've just put it back on again. It's not a problem. And if here we go. I'm going to start picking these bits all out now. Try not to pull them off. But yeah, they are now perfectly in position. So that top one, final snip. You will, I'm afraid, find these tiny little mitered corner pieces everywhere. You'll find them in your bed, on your clothes, in your car. It's unavoidable because they're sticky. They just don't want to let go. Okay, so I'm going to hold that corner, slice them all out. This is probably my favourite trick with peel-offs, just to get that really nice finished corner. I think it really does elevate the classy look to the card. Not to your fingers though, when it's covered in tiny little strippy bits. It's a little bit like how Liam is with glitter. You just find it everywhere. Okay, and very nearly done. So one sheet wonders I think are brilliant because I really enjoy using pattern papers. And I am actually going to do a video sharing some one sheet wonders. I'm going to have everybody helping me. You're dangerous with a craft knife, Alice. Yeah, exactly. It's not ideal. Leslie, who I was sat with at the show this weekend, she doesn't allow herself to have any kind of craft knife anymore because of that exact reason. Now, we have mitered the corners now. They've all got that little frame, and it's such a small difference. But it means the card's got a little bit of shine. It looks like a little bit more finished. Now, because we've used mink, I can pull out all of the other mink that I have to see if I want to add any additional decoration. And I'm pretty sure we have mink in many, many colours. That one's peach. And twinkle. Sorry about this, everybody. And straight. Well, I don't want to use any straight, I don't think. So I've got mini circle in either regular or gold finish. Have we got a preference here between gold finish and non? I am going to stick down the flower while I wait to hear if anyone's got an opinion. Right, last one. Okay. Now I'm going to use my With the Gold from Gloria. Thank you, Gloria, darling. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down. It's going there with the gold. Okay, picking up these similarly, you can pull the top corner away. Look away, Laura. And now, I mean, that in itself is super cool. Liam, can I have your head? Yes, stick it on. I will find something to do with that later. I'm going to stick it on the side of my desk, which I invariably will end up sticking to the back of my jumper at some point today. So, Alice agrees with the gold. Brilliant. Okay, so these are the mink mini circles with gold finish. Picking up the peel off. Again, I do with my finger. Palette knife. Oh. Love from Lizi peel off knife. Tweezer. I recommend using something with the tiny ones because then your fingers get in the way. If you pick it up with your finger, then you can't really see where it's going. So I am going to use my new Love from Lizi craft knife, and I'm going to spot the centre, which I'm going to put the big one in the big flower, and then I'm going to put the medium one in the smaller flower. It just ties, oh gosh, and then when it pings up, you can ping it back. It ties the frame into the flower, and now I'm going to put a few of the really small ones sort of scattered in amongst and around the flowers, just almost like you know, like dew would. they're not enjoying me, which is one of the risks of doing it live. So popping the blade, and I'm holding the sheet back so it almost wants to expose it a little bit, and then popping that and then using my nail to push it on so that it sort of sticks, and then that way I can then just swipe it off when I've got the knife over where I want it to be. And I'm trying not to put things evenly spaced between items so that it looks more organic and natural and not like a full pattern would. But these little specks just give the impression of a little bit more interest. And with sequins, you get exactly, I've put these now and they're on a line, which was a mistake, so I'm going to have to move one. And I will move this one because it would be easier to get under. I'm just going to move it a bit further down. Having things on a straight line isn't really pleasing to the eye unless everything is on a straight line. So, where are we going to go with you? Over here. But we are, I'm actually going to call this done because I want to move on to the other cards. But you could sit and decorate like this for hours, and it's so much fun. So the card looked finished, and it was, and it was fine as was. But when you pop some peel-offs in, and if you get the matching colours between the shapes and the pins and the straights, it really will help to complete. Okay, next card. This is a really important lesson here, this one. This is a crooked stick. I'm pretty sure that you can see there, and if you can't, I'm going to help with the ruler. Oh look, he's flicked my camera for me. So, this top piece, I've stuck on the crook. And it wasn't actually on purpose for once, it was just so I could show you this technique. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use straight peel-offs because it's easiest for me to show you with the straight. It does work with pins as well. Right, so I'm going to grab out the straight selection that I had in these, that works with this colour. Now the green iridescent glitter is slightly clear, so avoid using this peel off for that technique. It has got the green glitter to it, but it has got a little bit of transparency, so you don't want to give it all away on that one. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to use the racing green because it's nice and dark, so it will show the contrast. So this is racing green mirror. Now, when you've got a ruler, I've of course now buried mine under a gazillion sheets of peel-offs. Where have I put it? It's here somewhere. There it is. Got it. Don't panic. Right. So, when they're straight, you can see it's only ever so slightly off, but it's really important on a card like this that everything's straight. So, I'm going to get my racing green straight peel off. I'll leave that on the screen just so you can see which one it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to overhang again as I did on the last one, and I'm holding it the same. I'm going to stick it down, and I'm actually going to go all the way to the top on this because both of these were actually on the crook. All the way to the top. Okay? And what you can do is you can make sure that you're straight by lining up on your grid or by putting your ruler back in. This is a new to me ruler which I purchased at the weekend and I'm still getting used to it, but yes, that is straight along that line, so I'm good. Now, scissors, I'm going to snip just above. I'm going to do the same on the other side because these lines are ever so slightly, it's almost like crooked like that. So again, put it down, anchor it with my finger, pull it straight and then run it up. Keep the little bit of extra. Take the next one and I'm going to do the same going across. And what I've done by overlapping both the paper and the card, you get to decide where the straight line is again. So the fact that it's on the crook, I'm laying the peel off, which is nice and wide. That's one of the perks of the straights, is that they're good and wide. And then you lay that straight, and it just, it hides, the mini shapes are wonderful. Now, this particular one is going to be really quite easy to highlight. Between these two pieces here and these two pieces here, you can see that it's much narrower at that end than at this end. So what I need to do is stick my peel off right on top at this, right to the edge of the pattern paper on this side, and then as it goes along it needs to almost be off the pattern paper at the other end. So Let me see if I can show it for it to really make it clear what I'm doing. So sticking it down here on this side, so the whole of the sticker is on the pattern paper, and then pulling it straight. So now the peel off is actually hanging off the side of the pattern paper. And by doing that, we have now managed to hide, and that gap in the middle is back to straight again. These peel-offs hide all sorts of sins. Now, I had promised that I was going to show you how to use the little bits that are left over. At the very top of a peel-off, there is a very slight ridge. I'm hoping that you can pick that up on there. Along the edges, there's a slight, you can see it in the reflection, there's a slight ridge, and it's the same at the top and the bottom. So the bit that you've got left over is going to have a ridge at the top. Snip it off. You don't want that bit because it's not going to let them butt together well. So I'm going to stick this down as I would if it was a full-sized one. Give it a nice good press. I'm going to take this other little piece of waste and again snip off that end piece that's got the raised ridge. Now I'm going to try and do this in the air. Hope for the best, wish me luck. And what you need to do is you need to butt them up. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can lay one on top of the other and then slice through both of them with a craft knife, just as you do on the mitering, to make sure it's straight. Or you can do what I often do, and that is make sure you've cut it at a 90 degree, you know, you've cut it straight across on both pieces, and then you can lay them down. And as long as they are pushed up to one another, it will not show unless someone's really hunting for it. If someone's looking for a seam, they will invariably find one. But let's now finish this one off. And if you know that you only need to use a little bit of a peel off, you can peel the end off of the sheet, put your card in. Oh, I need to snip the end. Having said this is what we do. And then lay that down. Now cut it. And then that one will fall straight back into place where it was supposed to. And this is all ready to be mitered. Once mitered, then attach this, and then add, if I wanted to, some mini circles or twinkles or mini hearts in the racing green, and again another finished card. We have, let me show you what else we have. So this, as I say, well, this was a one sheet wonder. So this was just from the ephemera pack and from the die set and the stamp set, using one sheet of the pattern paper. So this one I'm actually going to do, I'm going to create a pattern super quick, and I'm going to use the apple bubble for this. Now, bubble we haven't used for a very long time in our videos, but they're really cute. They're like these link chains. And I'm just going to lay this down the middle here. I'm going to snip at that point. These aren't just for edging, they can be for all sorts of ideas. And the bubble are, we only have a handful of colours left. We are retiring them. So if this is something that you particularly like, I would suggest you get in there. But I try to cut these in between the bubble, just to keep it nice and tidy along the edge. And then now some of these bubbles haven't overlapped quite as perfectly as I would have hoped. So what I'm going to, and this is another example of me joining, I'm just going to lay these directly on here. Snip that off, stick this back. Just going to take off this extra one, who is not required at the party. There we go. And what I'm going to do now is, because there are some that are a little bit fugly on the overlap, I'm going to come back to my mini shapes, and I am going to look for a heart. Oh, mint moon dust heart maybe, or a gold glitter heart. Let's go with mint moon dust, shall we? I think so. Oh, I don't know now. Now, this ephemera piece, it's going to go in the middle, so it is only those two outer and these ones. So it's the four corners that have suffered at the hands of this. I actually think that the gold glitter is going to look nice because it's a little bit of contrast. And to cover it over, I am going to use the middle size one. I'm losing all of my marbles today. No idea where they've gone. So the gold glitter, I'm going to take the medium size heart and I'm going to pop one over the join there. Take another one and pop it over the join here. Take another one for that bottom join. And another one. Magic Hands has just found my pen for me. Right, so that's those. And now, to tie in the gold hearts that we've just put here, I'm going to pop a few on the actual ephemera piece, just scattered about, with no particular rhyme or reason. And I think that's what's key, is when you're using peel-offs, they're the accents, you know, because the card itself, the layout was really pretty. And I mean, I am a bit of a magpie. We all know that I like a bit of sparkle and shine. But the peel-off stickers add something really special. So I've just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's an odd number, which is pleasing to the eye. I've got my very handy size roll of tape, which everybody had a good laugh at the craft show. Because it's, you know, everyone tries to pack small. And they're going, here's me, turning up with 6 miles of foam tape. So, let's just put enough to support the body. And some on the really sticky outy flowers and leaves. just so that they don't sag. Nobody likes a saggy flower. Okay, so and the thing is, you don't even have to remove the backing if you're in a hurry, because the middle bit is going to hold it. As long as it's decent foam tape that you've got, the middle piece will hold it. This just stops the rest of it from dropping and drooping. So to demonstrate my confidence, I'm going to adhere that down. And now I'm going to call that card done. And it was a super simple piece of ephemera and some pattern paper. And I've just added 2 kinds of peel-off stickers, so that's 2 sheets. Yeah, so that's another one. I think the best tips and tricks to take away are pins and straights are really essential as far as I'm concerned. They're the things that are going to make the card look tidy. You're going to get that clean finish running down the edges. And you don't have to do mats and layers, because when you put a mat and a layer in, you're adding weight, you're using cardstock, which can be quite expensive, whereas I can't remember exactly how many strips we have on a sheet, but our sheets are a couple of dollars and they go for a very long time. And you've got all the different colours and they're economically able to stack up and space, so it works really well. And then once you've got the pins and the straights in hand, getting the coordinating mini shapes makes such a difference, because this black with the gold finish with the mini hearts, as I say, all of these were done with just 2 sheets of peel-offs, and depending on how you use them, it can really mix up the look that you get from it. So here, mitered corners on the border so that it looks all finished and tidy. That was the skinniest, this is the widest, and then these are the smallest mini hearts. And it just makes things look that little bit more polished. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this and that you found it informative. But the different shapes are great. They don't look as versatile, but you don't have to play with them for very long. Oh, I could even put a little heart on that one. Should I put a heart on that one? I think I'm going to. Just so that it's looks a little bit exposed, doesn't it? A little bit naked there. So we'll just pop. You know how I say I never know when to stop. Another problem. So the mini hearts, the twinkles, the mini circles, the mini stars are lovely. They're really versatile. They're good for new baby. They're very good for graduation, Christmas themed, masculine cards. The little shapes are brilliant, and because they're flat, they're better than sequins. They're not going to pop off. You don't have to use glue and fiddly tweezers. You know, you just sort of pick it up and put it down. They're not going to cost any extra in the mail because they're flat. I think they're fabulous. I think they're amazing. I love peel-offs and I use them, I can quite comfortably say, on every card. I did also, on a pinstripe, I've been informed there are 61 sheets. Magic Hands went and counted for me. So 61 strips between the 3 different widths. So you've got so many, especially if you butt them up the way I showed you to on the second card. They will just keep going on and on and on, which means you need to get all of the colours. Because, yeah, I am the world's worst for full set syndrome. So I can fully sympathise, and when we pack some of these orders up that have all these colours in, I'm like, ooh. And you can see the thinking behind some of the projects. Like when we do our variety bundles and our 6-packs, it's because those colourways work really nicely together, but aren't exactly the same. And it was only perhaps a year or so ago that we had the brainwave to think, oh, we should do all of the blacks, all of the whites. So if you like this idea of using a pinstripe or a straight and the mini shape, those orders are a really good way to dig into one colour. And white peel-offs particularly are great because you can colour them with alcohol markers. I haven't tried it with Olos, I only got those at the weekend, and I've tried colouring them, and I really enjoyed using them. But Spectrum Noir, Copic, Pro Marker, I think Altenew have some. Anyone that has alcohol markers should work. We will show how the whites are so versatile in our next video, because we have got, if I can reach, I did some colouring, and using peel-offs to create backgrounds is also super quick and easy, and it's one of my favourite ways to make a clean and simple but striking card. And that is exactly why we coloured these. I say we, royal we, it's why I coloured these in these specific alcohol marker colours, so that I can create the background using just one white sheet. But that will be in another video. I will be scheduling our next live, which is going to be Tuesday of next week at 11 AM, and I'm going to be sharing, I'm going to make one card, using our brand new kit, which will be released on Monday at 11 AM. There is also, I think, 3 days left to enter our blog layout challenge. We've had some really lovely entries, and each card is in with the chance of earning up to 3 points. And if you earn 3 points, each point all gets counted up, put into a Google random number generator, and we will be announcing the winner on Monday in our unboxing video for $100 to spend in store. So it's definitely worth getting your stuff out. It doesn't have to be Love from Lizi. You don't have to use the background builder. Use whatever you have, but get crafty. It's definitely worth it. Shelley says, thanks for all the great ideas. Definitely be adding to the peel-off collection. They are addictive, I'm afraid. I'm very sorry to say, but they are brilliant. And we've got Elizabeth. Oh, there's some really lovely comments. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm sorry, I was just trying to make sure that I could get as many things touched on as possible before I ran out or the cameras went off. And I'd just like to give a little shout out to Liam for managing to keep the cameras on for the whole time this time. That was very good effort. But on that note, I am going to jump out and let you carry on with your day, evening, night, whatever time it is where you are. And I very much look forward to seeing you next time. But in the meantime, please make something beautiful. Bye.